So the Wales team has been announced, and other than the massive bad news for Wales, that the fact that their best player is basically out for the game, then it's more or less as you were. So I'll quickly go through the team. I'll pop it up here. But it is Gareth Thomas, who was potentially going to be ruled out with an injury, but apparently he's fit. Had a torrid time in the first game, but he's fit and ready to go apparently. He's with Dewi Lake and Archie Griffin, who Archie Griffin had a really good game. Then we've got Dav Jenkins, Christians, and then in the back row, we lose Wainwright, obviously, and then Botham comes in for him. But Botham goes to 6 and Plumtree goes to 8. So you've got Botham, Rafael, and Plumtree at 8. Then in the backs, he sticks with Bevan and Ben Thomas, and then Grady and Watkin carry on in the centre. The centre partnership, this doesn't work. And then the back three, there's another change where Hathaway drops out, Liam Williams goes to the wing, Cam Winnett goes to fullback, and Dyer keeps his spot on the other wing. So that's the changes in the starting 15. And then on the benches, as you were, I think, Evan Lloyd, Kemsley Mathias, Harry O'Connor, Corey Hill, Mackenzie Martin, Kieran Hardy, Sam Costello, and somehow Nick Tompkins keeps his position. I don't know. So yeah, Wales are in a real precarious position at the moment. They've not won a game for 8 games now. The record is 10 and Steve Hansen. If they don't win this game, we can potentially see that record being beaten because the autumn gets more difficult than these 2 tests against Australia. We've dropped also to 11th in the world rankings, which is the lowest we've ever been. So it's a bit bleak at the moment, and we do really need to go out and get a win in this one. I think, in my opinion, I thought our best opportunity was going to win the first test, and then if we got a bit of momentum, we might have won the second one. But now we've made a bit of a mountain for ourselves because Australia's tails are going to be up. Our morale is obviously already rock bottom. There is areas, though, that we can improve, and if we do improve these, then it's going to give us a real good opportunity to win the game. Although the discipline was generally okay in the game, we gave away 11 penalties, and they reckon generally under 10 is what you should be aiming for. But what the issue was is we gave a lot early on, and it gave Australia a foothold in the game. And we got Gareth Thomas in the sin bin, and that was the issue. It was all like sort of compiled into one little spot. And also, we seemed to give away penalties when we were in an opportunity for something to happen, for an attack to develop or something like that. And that also goes the same for the line-out. The line-out was very up and down. There was, I would say it was poor. And Dewi Lake is coming under a lot of criticism for the line-out being rubbish. And I don't think it's all totally on him. There was that one throw which was not given, not straight, which I thought that was quite harsh. You've seen those not given at all, and I think a couple of his throws were a little bit low, but generally Australia were just reading the line out. I don't know whether it's the call, because Dav Jenkins obviously calling it in the absence of Adam Beard, and it's a role he's not really done before, so that is an issue. Hopefully they can work something out in training and give a bit more deception, because Australia were just getting up and challenging us at the jump point every time, and if your throw isn't perfect, then that's when the issues are going to come in. But it didn't improve when Evan Lloyd come on. But again, it's 2 converted back rowers, so that also could make that point. But if we can get a better platform, if the scrum holds, if the line out is better and we hit, say, like 90+%, that gives us a lot better platform, because we've got a couple of times where we, again, got into opportunities to attack and we messed the line out up. But again, I feel Dewi Lake has come under a lot of unfair criticism, because it's not just him. It's just it seems like the system of the line out wasn't working, like the calls and stuff. Also, if we can have a bit more creativity in the back line now, again, Ben Thomas has had another week in that position. Is he going to be able to actually, call the plays and find the space and be given the opportunities? it all depends on the platform. If we can get the platform, then it's going to be an opportunity to do something out wide. But we haven't had a platform for so long now. Archie Griffin did really well in his debut. He was very impressive, and hopefully, just that toughening up at test level is going to help him be better again in this one. Not really sure what's going on with Domachowski. I thought we could potentially see him this week if Gareth Thomas was injured, but again, he's not even in the match day squad. We haven't seen him at all, really, and I'm a bit surprised at that because he's had a fine season for Cardiff, and I think he could have maybe been rewarded if nothing coming off the bench. He's proven himself to be a pretty solid scrummager, so I don't know what that is. I will give props to Matthias when he came on. He was noticeable around the park, and the scrum was okay. Luckily, we didn't have too many scrums in that second half, and once the two front props for Australia went off, Slipper and Taniela Tupou, it was a bit easier for us because they were giving our props a real issue in that first half. Also glad to see Cam Winnett come back in the team. I think he was a little bit unlucky to be dropped for Hathaway. A lot has been made of Hathaway's debut, that it wasn't very good, but it's what you expect. I thought he was okay, other than a couple of bad kicks. But Cam Winnett should give us a bit more control, more cultured boot, and just a bit more like security and just safety around his play. So I think that's going to improve the team, and it'll just give us a bit more control because at times the kicking was a little bit loose, and the fielding of kicks as well across the board, in fairness, wasn't the best in the previous game. So bringing Winnett back in, I think he'll just take control of the air and just take control of any high balls and stuff like that. So he gives us a little bit more security from that point of view. What's going to be interesting now is to see who takes up the mantle of the big ball carrier with Wainwright gone. I thought we might see Mackenzie Martin come to 8. A little bit surprised that Plumtree is getting the start in that position. I think the only game that I seen him play at 8 was the England game away in the World Cup, and he wasn't very good, to be honest. I don't think it suits his game. I think 6 is far better for him, but Gatland's going to give him an opportunity. Gatland clearly likes him because every chance he's had, he's chucked him in. So I don't know if I would have started Mackenzie Martin, but it's definitely a discussion with that big size and big bulk, and just see what he can do. So maybe we'll see now. We're going to have to see the ball carrying spread around. In the last game against Australia, they were just chucking the ball to Wainwright in the middle of the field off all the set plays. There was no deception, and now without that, we're going to have to see other players step up. Maybe Grady will start getting over that gain line. Watkins, Plumtree again, getting over that gain line with these big carries. Chinza had a really good game defensively, but didn't really offer much in attack. So it'll be interesting to see now who takes this up, because it's going to be vital. If we don't get anyone going over the gain line, which is something we've struggled with, we're not going to do anything in this game. So maybe the loss of Wainwright is going to force other players to do this, and maybe it'll be a benefit to other players and the team generally. I don't know. So I do see a route to victory. It's just, though, are Australia going to kick up again from where they were? Because if they do, I don't think we can kick up that much. If they stay where we were, I feel like they might be an opportunity for us, because we've got a lot of places we can improve on. It's whether we improve on them, because so far we haven't really improved. Well, it seems like we're getting worse, to be totally honest with you. And I think a lot of calling has come for Gatland at the moment. And first of all, they're not going to sack Gatland, at least for another year into the autumn and probably the Six Nations, even if we do continue to lose, because they've got no money and it costs them so much money to get rid of him. That ain't going to happen. So I guess we just need to back him. But he is under severe pressure. That interview with Lauren Jenkins was a bit unfair to her. She's just asking questions, and he was quite like short with her and a bit sarky. And that is just he's saying that there's no pressure, but that is literally an example of a coach buckling under the pressure. So, but what I think is getting overlooked a lot is his coaching staff. Alex King, the attack is non-existent. What's happened there? Because in the World Cup, it was pretty decent, although we were having a better platform. A lot of the launch plays were coming off the line out, where we were seeing like Tompkins and North linking up in the centre, and they created a lot of opportunities. And the scrum was working when we had Francis in there. But since the World Cup, the attack is literally nothing. There is nothing happens. So I think King deserves a lot of criticism. What a lot of people are asking is he being allowed to actually do his job now? Because it was quite telling, and a few people actually mentioned in the comments, when you looked in the when the camera was going into the coach's box, you've seen Gatland next to Howley and Humphreys, and they were like giggling like little school kids for some reason. And then Alex King was like right down the end on his own. So I'm wondering if he's like been iced out, or if he's been allowed to do what he wants, especially since Gatland's mate Rob Howley's come back. It seems to have like been the same time where things have started to decline with the attack. I don't know. That's just speculation. And then the big issue for me, and I think he really just needs to be, after this tour, let go, is Jonathan Humphreys. The scrum and the line out have been poor since he's been in the squad, in the coaching staff, and I believe he was there under Pivac as well. So there's been no improvement in that time, and it's got just progressively worse and gone downhill. And when is he going to start coming under some criticism and have to hold up his responsibility? Because Gatland is getting all of the flack, but it's like, what are his coaches implementing week in, week out in training? That's the question. And I'm just not sure, because I'm not seeing any improvement. That's just my thoughts. The last thing I want to touch on is just how uninspiring the sort of bench selections are, and maybe even some of the team selections. All right, we need to be a bit of cohesion, and we need to maybe stick with a couple of players and some game plan, but the centre partnership hasn't worked in 2 games now. Is it going to work in the 3rd game? I don't think so. And then the bench, I'm really disappointed with. Why is Nick Tompkins keeping his position on the bench? He came on and just caused issues, and then he was really responsible for that attack where they scored, Tom Wright scored, where he was just, alright, he's got outpaced by a pacey player, fair enough, but he's just flapping and trying to grab his shirt. It's just not good enough. Why are we not giving an opportunity to Eddie James? We know what Nick Tompkins offers, and why don't we just give Eddie James that experience off the bench? I don't know. So, yeah, it's just I'm trying to be positive. There is reasons to be positive, because there is still an opportunity. Even though we lost that game, there is still an opportunity for us to go out there and get a win in Australia. And then if we did and we won the Reds game, then we could probably say this has been a good tour. But if we lose this, again, the pressure is going to pile on Gatland and his coaching staff and the players. And I don't really think a lot of the issues that we're having is the players' fault. It seems like they're playing a game plan that does not suit them. I mean, you look at some of the Cardiff players, the way Cardiff play, the ball's being worked wide, and it's not being done that way in Cardiff for Wales. If he wanted to play the type of game that he seems like he wants to play with this arm wrestle, why is he not bringing more Ospreys in? I don't know. But yeah, that's all from me. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you after the game. Enjoy.